Hi, I'm Penny.
I'm Mari.
We live in Lema'an Achai. We have 3 wonderful children. I'm a lawyer by trade. We made Aliyah together in 2014. I was injured in combat just outside of Be'eri. A Hamas rocket was shot at our unit and fell in very close proximity to us. And I was injured by shrapnel. You go from a place of strength and meaning where you're filling maybe the most meaningful role at that time in your life. You're protecting your family, your people, your country, and you go from that to losing all ability to provide and protect. You know, the place that a father holds in the family of providing stability to the children is lost. It can continue far beyond the first stages of physical recovery.
As long as the husband is in the hospital, the government will give the family a stipend because the assumption is that the wife is not working while the husband is in the hospital. As soon as he's released, when he's discharged from the hospital, I guess the assumption is that the wife can go back to work, so the family no longer receives that stipend. Now, what it looks like when the husband is released is usually months and months and months of rehab, every day, all day, or a couple times a week, which is physically and emotionally draining. It means that his wife is probably the one taking care of all of the needs that were taken care of in the hospital. He's likely not available physically or emotionally to be around with the kids or taking care of the home. So all of this falls on the wife. On top of all of the existing tension and stress and difficulties, there's also the financial challenge. And that's without mentioning families who need to move because their house is not necessarily accessible for the husband who now may be handicapped. Wives who are pregnant, having babies, on maternity leave. There's all the extra things that we can add to the mix that really make it challenging for families to just keep their heads above the water during these months.
It's very difficult to adjust to a reality where you no longer have the ability to provide in the way you once did. Again, for a lot of us, it's temporary, God willing, and for some of us, it's permanent. And that's quite a difficult reality to accept, along with all of the physical difficulties that one might be facing. There's the trauma from the injury itself and the trauma from everything that occurred prior to the injury. And PTSD is a very, very common issue for soldiers who were injured in war, and that affects every aspect of injured soldiers' lives, their families' lives, their children's lives.
They just don't want to be forgotten months and months down the line after the injury, where they're struggling to find work or struggling emotionally because they couldn't go back to work. That's a really heavy load to live with and to work with and to either go back to work or find a new job. And it just raises a lot of complications that all these families are dealing with. Life becomes kind of a roller coaster. There are lots and lots of good times. Sometimes the husband is home at times that he wouldn't be, which allows for family time. Intertwined in all of those moments are a lot of times of difficulty and challenge and unknown and lack of stability and uncertainty. People assume, oh, he went back, he's fine. Oh, he's in the hospital, he's not fine. It's really just, the healing process is not linear, and the ups and downs can be really exhausting.
Right, and there's a good stage before a bad stage, followed by a good stage, followed by another bad stage, right? And even within a day, the morning was wonderful, and then my entire afternoon was racked with pain. So then, like, it looks like I was fine, but then I can't help with bedtime. Creates a lot of stress on a family when there's that level of unpredictability, lack of stability. There needs to be a lot of patience and support for families who are going through that sort of adjustment period. We were really hesitant to share a lot of this publicly, but we heard, experienced, and saw how much financial difficulty so many of families in the community of injured soldiers and civilians are experiencing, and support during those transition periods is incredibly important for families, and without it they can find themselves in crisis and unable to move forward and adjust and build a new life.
I'm confident that if these families can receive some support, it can really give them some peace of mind, and it could allow them to focus on healing their husband and their family emotionally and physically.